Welcome to the Joy of Leadership podcast on K Mozart, brought to you by Cobblestone Wine. I'm your host, Char McBee. In a moment, you'll meet our guest, a director, a star on Broadway and television, and now the new dean of the College of Fine Arts at Howard University, Phylicia Rashad. First, today's leadership secret: trust your intuition. When you have a big decision to make, it's easy to overthink it, to listen to naysayers. That's when you trust your intuition. You know when something is right or wrong. When you trust people, they're more willing to help you. When you trust your intuition, that inner voice gets louder. Listening to it will give you confidence and help you overcome obstacles that have stood in your way for years. When I was given this advice, it gave me great peace of mind. Welcome to our guest, Phylicia Rashad. You know her as a star and a director. The students at Howard University know her as the new dean of the College of Fine Arts. Phylicia, thank you so much for being here today, for offering your insights to people that are new to leadership. So one of the questions I want to start out with is, I got to watch you once directing a play, and I was so taken with how much you trusted the actors. You gave small pieces of information and they just took it and ran with it. And I loved how you trust your intuition and other people's. So I'd just like to hear you talk about that a little bit, because that was one of the things that was hard for me when I first started in leadership situations, was to trust people and trust myself.
Yeah. I understand that. Well, anytime I'm in a position of leadership, whether it's wherever it is, the most important thing for me, I think, is that the people with whom I'm working buy into whatever the vision is, and that they can claim ownership of it, that I leave room for them to add things that I didn't see or didn't consider.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, and that's what makes for a very successful collaboration.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
That's beautiful. Do you remember when you first learned that? How did you learn to do that?
Well, it was when I directed for the first time.
Oh.
At Seattle Rep. I was directing August Wilson's Gem of the Ocean. I had never directed anything before. It was not even in my thinking that I would be a director ever. But there I found myself. And so I learned that directing wasn't so much just telling people what to do, that it was really creating, crafting, holding a vision of where this production would go, and aligning all of the creative energies with that vision. And as I said before, leaving room, leaving space for them to add what I hadn't thought of or didn't see. And in this way, they could take ownership of the vision too, and it would become theirs as well. And that's when I learned it.
Were you afraid to give up control?
No. No, as an actor, and this was part of the way I approached directing as well. As an actor, I find it disconcerting to work with directors who think they must tell you everything to do. You might as well be a robot. You might as well be a computer. You might as well be anything other than a human being, and certainly a creative one. I don't have a problem following direction. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about someone who tells you stand here and stand this way. It's like, okay. and say it this way. And, it's like, well, okay. It doesn't leave room for space for an actor to grow into a character, or to have the character grow for you, So I just am not the one to just have to feel control and telling people what to do all the time. However, as a leader, there's a fine line with this. I'm telling the truth, you heard that bell ring. There's a fine line here, because in leadership, there is a measure of control that must be used. Mm-hmm. So you have to find that line, that balance, that delicate balance, that dance of what that is, so that your control is not stifling for others.
Oh, such a yogic principle too, the razor's edge.
Ah, yeah, the razor's edge, yes. Mm-hmm.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask you about was, once you told me this story about how you were auditioning for Stephen Sondheim. And it was a thing that came to you through your intuition, listening to a message that came to you. So will you tell that story?
Sure. Are you there?
I'm here. Can you?
Oh, okay. That was just something that just with my screen. Okay. So I was invited to audition for The Witch in Into the Woods. I was to replace Bernadette Peters. Well, whomever was cast would be replacing her. And I had a dream. In which I was told, just sing. Just sing. Don't think about how the note sounds. Don't think about how you want it to come out. This is how I interpreted this command, as it were. Just sing. Just sing. So I went to the audition, and I remembered that. Just sing. And for the first time, I felt that I sang a song as if I had written it myself. The bell rang.
That's good.
Yeah, I felt that I sang the song as it had just come out of me, as opposed to thinking about it so much. That open and honest expression of joy, the joy of music and singing. And I just sang. And then I was told, when I got home, the phone rang, and it was my manager. And well, they want you. They want you. You're back on the boards, he said. You're back on the boards.
And you were singing directly to him, his song, right?
Oh, he was there, yeah. There were a lot of people there, as a matter of fact. There was the musical conductor, the arranger, the director, Mr. Sondheim, the stage manager, some producers, just sing, you know?
I think about that a lot when in a leadership role, if you have people working for you that can just say what they think.
Mm.
Any thoughts about that?
You know, I think what happens, I know what happens, is that sometimes given a task, given a project, given a proposal or something to do that is significant, sometimes there's just this thing about making a mistake that freezes us up.
Mm-hmm.
So afraid of saying the wrong thing or saying the right thing the wrong way, or just making a mistake.
Yeah.
And it freezes us up. Yeah. That's a very human dilemma.
This is the Joy of Leadership podcast on K Mozart, brought to you by Cobblestone Wine. I'm Char McBee.